Alrighty. Whew. Wait for a moment to get some people in the chat room. Alright, what's going on, everybody? My name is Antonio, and this is the All Around Sports channel. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we're doing a special edition of Q&A with also along with a few topics as well that I have listed on this little clipboard here. So here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to be going over a topic individually, and then if we do get anyone in here, I will be answering any questions that anyone might have for me down below. It can be NFL related because today's special edition is all about NFL. I have multiple NFL topics listed on this channel, on this paper that I have in front of me. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like button down below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, today's video is presented by Q Streaming. Q Streaming is a streaming system that can be used to stream movies. You can watch all your favorite channels, including sports and everywhere else. Also, it will allow you to watch on-demand movies, TV shows, and also, if you add someone on your code of your code, it'll get you a $6 return each month. $6 return each month for anyone that you have signed up with this. And the link will pop up down in the comments section below in just a minute. But before we get this video started, for any current viewers in the chat room right now, I'm going to be going over a multitude of topics. I will be answering questions in the comments or going to the comments section below to see if we have anything new when I get done with each of these individual topics. So please let me know if you guys do enjoy this video. And I want to set a goal this time. Before the NFL season starts, I want to set a goal of hitting 500 subscribers. I want to set a goal of that because during the draft, I set a goal for 225. It was originally 250, but then it moved down to 225. We were able to hit that point a little after the NFL draft was over, but I want to at least hit 500 subscribers before the NFL season gets started. So if you have a friend or family member that you want to share this with, please be sure to share this channel with others around you, with your friends, with your family. And this is a family-friendly show, by the way. This is family-friendly, which means I try to curse as little as I can. I try not to curse at all, but when I do attempt to curse, I'm just going to go out and bleep it like bleep in my own voice. So for now, I'm going to get this thing started. Starting us off, I have the Eagles. So the Eagles this season, this postseason, went after a few big weapons in their ranks. They ended up going after Cooper DeJean and Quinton Mitchell in the draft. Also, along with getting Jeremiah Trotter, who I think was a really good signing. And then also got some free agents in there, including Saquon Barkley, C.J. Gardner-Johnson coming back, also along with Devin White and Bryce Huff. But the question is, are the Eagles an NFC contender? Now, I've got to be honest. My team went against the Eagles last year. We've had their number for a few times. I don't know how it is we beat them up every single time because I mean Pete Carroll was unbeaten against them as a head coach. But enough about my team. But anyways, I do think that the Eagles are a contender for the NFC because if we look at the NFC East, You got the Cowboys, who could be in a secret rebuild. I'm going to get into that later. And you got the Commanders, and you got the Giants. Which, that's a pretty weak division. That's one of the reasons why it's called the NFC least. Which is one of the reasons why it is called that. But I do think that the Eagles are a contender because I do think that they are going to show glimpses of renewal next year, because last year the main reason they struggled was because of their coordinator group. Now, if they had those same coordinators that were in there during their Super Bowl run, I could have seen them easily winning the NFC. But, of course, we can't control where the coordinators go. So, they went out and got Vic Fangio and also along with Kellen Moore. So, I do believe those two are really good. Kellen Moore has obviously had a lot of questions surrounding him since he left the Cowboys and went to the Chargers after that. But we'll see what happens with this. But let me go into the comments really quick before I get on to the next one. So it is just the channel, the link to the sponsorship of this video has been put in the comments. So if you guys do see that, please be sure to go and check it out. So the next topic I wanted to get into, since we have no one commenting in the comments below, I wanted to go to the Packers. Now, as a Seahawks fan, we're good rivals with them. And I wanted to talk about this team because after a very fast build of going into the playoffs and knocking off America's biggest joke, the Dallas Cowboys, they ended up having one of the best seasons under record without Aaron Rodgers. Going 10-7, going to the wild card round where they beat the Cowboys, and then losing in the round 2 to the 49ers. Now, the question is that I've been asked, are the Packers a Super Bowl contender? Ooh, man. Now, I do believe this team is a contender. I do believe the Packers are, because the Packers are going to be a really good team this year. They're going to be an amazing team, because you look around at their team right now, you got Josh Jacobs, Marshawn Lloyd, you got so many good offensive weapons in total, along with Christian Watson, along with Dontavian Wicks, Luke Musgrave, and a few other guys that I cannot name at this exact moment. But their defense, those three safeties that they got in the draft, those three are big hogs. They're ball hawks. And I'm legitimately scared to go against them next year. I'm legitimately scared. Because the Seahawks actually do go against the Packers in Seattle next year, for those of you that do not know. The opponents have been decided already. So, we'll see what happens. But the Packers, I think they're going to be right up there with the Lions for the division. Because it's going to be a battle. I'm just going to go out there and say it right now. Because I had to get a little water real quick. But let me go down in the comments again to see if we got anything new. Nope, nothing new at the moment. So I'll see what I can do. I'm going to mute myself for just a minute, so hold on. Alright, I'm back. Just had to talk with someone real quick. But the next topic I wanted to get into is the Chicago Bears. Now, the Bears have been known to be a really a decent team for some parts of the year. And we know that this team recently got Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, which some people have been saying Rome Odunze, which is pronounced Odunze. I looked it up. So, excuse me. With the roster around them, the question is, can the Bears be an NFC threat? Now, it's a little early to say this, but I'm going to say no for right now. Because, I mean, I get they have a good receiver core in Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and DJ Moore, along with, like, Cole Kmet. and also Gerald Everett along with DeAndre Swift, which I mean I really like that, but I don't see it happening because of a few reasons. Number one, you have to go against the 49ers and the entire NFC West next year, which is going to be a hard gauntlet of games to go through. And also on top of it all, they have to go against the entire AFC South, or along with other divisions that are really difficult. That's number one. Number two, I think the Bears are not that experienced yet, but I will say this: if Caleb Williams can get if he can perform very well within the first few times that he's there, if he can get to the level of what he has stated to be, which is the Patrick Mahomes 2.0, if he can prove that he's that, then we could have a potential superstar on our hands. Maybe a potential C.J. Stroud. But we'll see. We don't know what's going to happen until it happens. But let me see if there's any new stuff in the comments real quick. Hold on just a minute. Nothing new. I'm going to take a minute here to contact someone. Just really quick. Hold on just a second. There we go. Alright, so the next topic I wanted to get into, since we have no comment activity right now, I wanted to go over the Cardinals. Because the Cardinals have been stated to have one of the best drafts that they've had in recent memory. They ended up selecting Marvin Harrison Jr. and also along with like other guys like Darius Robinson and a few other guys. But the question is, are the Arizona Cardinals a sleeper team? Oh man. I'm not speaking bias here. I'm not speaking biased. But I don't think they're a threat. Because I don't think they're a sleeper team. And as a matter of fact, I don't know at all what they're capable of right now. Because here's the thing. The Cardinals have been up and down since their beginnings. They've been up and down with Kyler Murray. He's been injured a ton with this team. He's been injured a ton. And even though they brought in Marvin Harrison Jr., you still lost Rondale Moore, and you still lost a few other key weapons to this Cardinals offense. Now, their defense, on the other hand, I think their defense has the potential to grow. However, I do not see it yet. Because the Cardinals have 3 tough opponents within the division. They have the Seahawks, they have the Niners, and the Rams. And I don't think the Cardinals are that high yet. But I will say this. I don't see them having a season like they did last year. I do see them at least getting 8 or 10 wins. At least somewhere around there. But for those of you that are just joining us, I have been going over a few topics. And I have been asking for comments in the comment section below about questions that you guys might have for me. I'm going to be going over each topic. And then I'm going to be checking the comment section to see if we've got anything new after I go over each topic I have listed on this list right here. So, while you guys are pondering that, I'll move on to the next topic, which is my team, the Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks had a really good draft. They had a B-plus draft, according to PFF. But the question is, who was my favorite draft pick for the Seattle Seahawks? Oh, man. I've been asked this a few times. I've been wanting to go over this. Oh, man. Uh, I mean, there's so many to look at that are really good. Ooh, man. I'm going to go out there and say two. I'm going to go out and say two. First, I'm going to go over the defensive pick, and then I'm going to go over offense. The defensive pick that I happen to really like for the Seahawks is Byron Murphy. Now, Byron Murphy, this guy out of Texas, he has been an amazing player. He was a sensational player in Texas. He has been amazing. He can stop runs. He can get to the quarterbacks. He can cause a lot of chaos on defensive line. And if you ask me right now, this dude reminds me of Aaron Donald. I mean, really. You look at the way he played in Texas, and with Mike Macdonald as the head coach, I mean, that is huge. Mike Macdonald is a defensive mastermind. And the Seahawks won their first Super Bowl with a defensive head coach in Pete Carroll. Now, I'm not saying the Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Maybe in a few years to come. I'm not saying that like a Cowboy fan would. But what I'm saying is, this guy could develop. This guy is amazing. He is a beast in the defensive line. And you pair him up with guys like Leonard Williams, who is a big freak athlete. You got Uchenna Nwosu. You got Boye Mafe. I mean, there's so many good talented names in this roster on the defensive side. But now to my offense. To the offensive pick that I liked. It's the guy out of UConn, Christian Haynes. Now, I've seen this guy in a few highlights. I've watched a few of his highlights. And this dude's big. I mean, he can help in the run game. He's helped in the run game during his time at UConn. And I think this guy is going to develop. I think he's a legit steal for this team. Because he's only allowed one sack during his time at UConn. Now, I don't know if this was the season that he had last year or if it was his entire time at UConn. He's only allowed one sack. One! And the Seahawks offense, they have not been doing, their offensive line is not done so great. You had Abraham Lucas, who was getting injured all the time, and also along with Charles Cross, who was getting injured. And now you get 3 O-lineman players in Christian Haynes, that Utah guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name. And then there was that Michael Jarrell guy. I don't know exactly where he's from. But I really like all the picks that they made in total. I really like all of them. But let me check to see if there's any action going on down in the comments. Nothing yet. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the next topic I have in mind. If you guys do have any questions for me that you want to ask me about NFL teams, be sure to let me know. Fire it down to me down in the comment section below. So, and it can be about your team, it can be about my team, it can be about anything. Just let me know in the comment section below. But moving down to the next topic, I'm moving to Miami. After Miami got Odell Beckham Jr. in free agency a few days ago, they ended up getting one of the best trios in the NFL for wide receivers. You got now Odell Beckham Jr., Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. However, they also picked up a few other guys, including Chop Robinson and Mohamed Kamara in the draft. Those are the most notable ones. But the question I have been asked, and the question I'm going to bring up, are the Miami Dolphins an AFC threat? Now, here's the thing. I've wanted to talk about this team for a while. I honestly do not know if they're a threat because they have a good team. They do. But can they perform in the weather? During Tua's time in Miami, he has not been able to win in cold weather. Which, if you're going to play in a division where you've got Buffalo, you got New York, and New England, that are both really rainy and snowy environments, you got to perform in the elements, my man. You need to perform in the elements if you're going to be able to be considered an AFC threat, because you live in a state where it's sunshine all the time. All the time it's heat down there. And you cannot stay in Miami all the time. Now, if they would have won the division last year, then I could have seen them being the threat. But I just don't see it right now. I thought I felt a sneeze coming on for a second. My bad. But anyways, Miami, I need to see them play in cold weather first. If they can win, then it's all good. If they can't, then they're not a threat. I'm just going to say it's 50-50 right now. It's 50-50 for the Miami Dolphins. But let me go back to the comments to see if we have any action down there. Nothing yet. Okay. So, next topic I wanted to touch on. Hold on, I'm going to get some water here real quick. Next topic I wanted to go over. The Rams. Now, they're a division rival of the Seahawks. I wanted to go over them. After the retirement of Aaron Donald, probably the best defensive player who ever lived, now they look at new weapons in Jared Verse, Brendan Fisk, and Cameron Kitchens on defense. Also, along with adding Blake Corum on their running game for their run back. But the question is, still with all the pieces, are the Rams still a threat in the NFC? I'm going to say yes, because as a Seahawks fan, they've been a thorn in my team's side for years. They've been a thorn in my team's side. And we swept them 2 years ago, and then they swept us right back. Which, the Rams, I never underestimate them. Never. Because the Rams are always so tough. And even without Aaron Donald, they're still a threat. Still. No matter if Aaron Donald's on the team or not, they're still a threat. Because, let me explain something. Jared Verse and Brendan Fisk are two really good defensive players. They played at Florida State together. I don't know how the Rams ended up getting the two of them in the same draft. And then they also got Washington State defensive edge rusher, Breann Jackson, I think was his name. I think that was his name. Don't quote me on that. I think that was his name. But the Rams, you look at their offense. You got Nakula, you got Kupp, you got Corum now. You got so many guys on the offense. And then you look at their defense is always strong. And as long as Sean McVay is their head coach, the Rams are always going to be a threat. Every single season, they're going to be a threat. Every single time, and my team's going to have to be prepared to face off against them. I'm going to have to say that. They're going to have to be prepared to face off against them because their defense, we need to get the ball moving on offense. We need to find some way to protect Geno. But anyways, let me see first if there's any comment. Nope. Still no action. Still got 2 viewers in here. But next up, I want to talk about Kansas City. Now, as the back-to-back Super Bowl champ, someone's going to be looking for their head. I'm just saying it as it is. Someone's going to want to hunt him down. But the question is, who is the biggest threat to Kansas City of the AFC? Oh, man. I've been contemplating this one for a while. And I have to say, there's not one, but there's two. There's two teams I have in mind. The first one, Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals have the only quarterback that in the NFL currently who has ever beaten Mahomes in the playoffs, which is Joe Burrow. Now, let me explain. Joe Burrow, we will have to see how he recovers from his wrist injury. We'll have to see how he recovers from that. But he's still got an arm. You still got Jamar Chase there. You still got Higgins, which we don't know what situation's coming up foot. We don't know what's gonna happen. And then you also got Zach Moss now with Joe Mixon now going to the Texans. But this team still, their defensive. I thought we were gonna get Geno Stone, but they ended up getting him. So that also makes their defense a lot better, and also re-signed Von Bell to the team. So the second team that I wanted to state has a new uniform, and I think they're going to be a threat to them. The Houston Texans. Now, the Texans, this team has been catching my eye for a while now. They've been catching my eye for a while. And this team, this Texans team, they're built. They're stacked. You look at their defense, it is stacked, top to bottom. And you add Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. on the same team, damn gum. And then also on top of it all, you go and get Joe Mixon and Stephon Diggs. Really? How do you get those two guys in the same team? Oh my goodness. But a pick I did like for the Texans as far as tight ends was Cade Stover. I really like that pick because he's a good tight end. He played really well during his time at Ohio State, which he's going to be joining with his former Ohio State teammate in C.J. Stroud, which I think that was one thing they wanted to get for him. But I do think that the Texans are going to be a threat in the future, which I'll get into that here in a little bit as well. But before I move on to the next topic, let me see what comment activity we have going on right now. Nothing right now. Okay. So, let me see what one was next. Here we go. The Texans. Speaking of the Texans just went after a lot, and I mean a lot of weapons. And they've stacked on many of the guys that I just said. But the question is, are the Texans a Super Bowl contender? Now, it's a little early to say this, but I think they are. Because right now, they're more all-in than the Cowboys right now, if I'm being honest. They're more all-in than the Dallas Cowboys, if I have anything to say right now. But here's the thing. If we look at the AFC, you got the Bengals to deal with. You got the Bills, Dolphins. It's stacked. But if they can beat Kansas City with the defense that they have right now, with all the pieces around them, this Texans team could be dangerous. This Texans team could be dangerous. And the Texans are more all in than the Dallas Cowboys right now. So we'll see what happens here. But before we move on to the next topic, I did want to see if we have any comment activity. Nope. Still no chat room in the comments. Moving on to the next topic. Oh, yes, the 49ers. I wanted to talk about them here for a moment. Because Kyle Shanahan, during his time as the 49ers head coach, he's gone to the Super Bowl twice. He's gone total there 3 times when he was with offensive coordinator with the Atlanta Falcons. But the question on everybody's mind is Kyle Shanahan's time as a 49ers coach over if he cannot win a Super Bowl? I think it is if he cannot get to a Super Bowl this year. Because, let me explain. You bring in a roster that is filled with Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Jeremy Ward, and others. And you're telling me that this team didn't win the Super Bowl last year on defense? Some people say defense wins championships. Apparently not this one, for crying out loud, because the Seahawks won the Super Bowl because of their defensive Legion of Boom. But and then their offense, they went after Ricky Pearsall. I mean, really? I'm going to be talking about that here in a little bit. But the 49ers, if they cannot win a Super Bowl this year, Kyle Shanahan's got to go. Because I'm a Seahawks fan. And the team has a rivalry. I actually wanted them to win the Super Bowl this past season. Because I want their drought to end. I really do. But if you cannot get the job done, where you've had 3 double-digit leads, you've had one against New England when you were part of the Falcons, against Kansas City twice, in Super Bowl 54 and this past year in Super Bowl 58. If you have 3 double-digit leads, you at least win one of those guys. And as a matter of fact, I looked up some stats. As a matter of fact, to Kyle Shanahan. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. So first, I'm going to go over his total record. So hold on just a second. Total record as a head coach in the regular season, 64-51. Total record in the playoffs, 8-4. Total record in all, 72-55. Total amount of stuff won as a head coach of the 49ers. 3 division titles, 4 postseason appearances, 4 NFC Championship game appearances, and 2 Super Bowl appearances. Not one has he come back with one. And also, Kyle Shanahan is in a room of 3 different head coaches that have never won a Super Bowl, that are 0-4 in a Super Bowl. And those guys, I don't know their first names, but I'm going to state the last names. Those guys are Grant, Reeves, and Levy, or I don't know how to pronounce that one. But you cannot tell me that this 49ers squad can win a Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan. Shanahan, who knows? I don't know, but he's been to 3 Super Bowls. 1 as an offensive coordinator for Atlanta, and 2 as a head coach for the 49ers. You cannot tell me you can at least come back with one of them. Because the 49ers drought, I really want to end. But you cannot tell me you have a 10-point lead against Kansas City twice, and you choke a bag in both of them. Only difference is, the Seahawks actually finished the job. They didn't lose a 10-point lead in the second half. And I mean, I've been going off on the Niners recently, but this is playing out ridiculous. I want the Niners to win a Super Bowl, but they can't. Because this, I don't know. Something's been lurking around their franchise. I don't know what it is. But I've been talked to by a 49er diehard that I go to work with 3 times in a week. I talk with this diehard 49ers fan 3 times, at least 3 times a week. And he said, in his words, not mine, that he thinks the franchise is legitimately cursed. And also, I'm going to show this video here that I have on my phone in a little bit. It's reaction from 49ers fans to the Ricky Pearsall pick, which I'll be going over here in a little bit. But 49ers, if they can't win a Super Bowl this year, they got to let him go. Because you cannot go to 3 Super Bowls with a franchise and choke the bag in all 3. That's enough said. But let me see if there's any common activity. I did get a text, though. Hold on. Kyle Shanahan has to go or start calling better plays. It's my grandma. Very true. Very, very true. But moving on to the next topic. The Lions. The Lions came this close to go into the Super Bowl last year. And also, before we get started on this topic, if you guys can, comment in the comments. Be sure to let me know of any questions you might have, because after each topic, I'm going to check that comment section area to see if there's any questions in the comments. And I'm happy to take any. So, moving on to the Lions. They were this close to making a Super Bowl appearance last year, which would have they're the only NFC team to not make a Super Bowl appearance. But the question is, with all the moves they've made recently, are the Lions a Super Bowl contender? I think they are, because as a Seahawks fan, my team has had their number the last few times. I will admit. But this team, this Detroit Lions team, I have mass respect for them. I have mass respect. And I actually chose them to win against the Niners. I chose them to win. And they almost did. But eventually they ended up choking the bag with the going for it on fourth down twice in field goal range, which I hope Dan Campbell learned his lesson. I hope he learned his lesson there. But the few additions they made recently were Terrion Arnold in the draft, Sione Vake, who I really like as a person who has watched the Utah Utes. He's a really good player. And it's said, he even played running back. He played two positions in college. Normally in college you play one position, but he played two. I mean, he played running back, he played safety. This dude is a monster. And I think he's going to be a steal in this draft. And another free agent signing that they made, DJ Breeder. This dude, I don't know why Cincinnati even let go of him in the first place. This dude's a run-stopping machine. This dude is a whole nother level type of beast. And he can stop runs with ease. And was a part of that Super Bowl team that went when he was with Cincinnati, which we all know lost to the Rams. But I do believe they're going to get better at their run defense. They just need to work on their skills more. They need to stop going for it on fourth down in field goal range. Take the points. Because my personal opinion, y'all can have yours. My personal opinion, if the Lions went for the field goals, they would have won that game. That's just my opinion. Y'all can have yours, but that's just my opinion on that. Let me see if there's any chat. Let me see if there's any chat activity, which there is not. But let me move on to the next topic, which is America's biggest joke, the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have said they're going all in, but they've not really gone all in. I mean, you look at this team, they've not gone all in. They did not select a running back in the draft, which they re-signed Zeke. But something that was recently brought up. Now, this was by an Eagles fan. I saw a little video by this Eagle chat that they said that the Cowboys were in a secret rebuild. So I wanted to touch on that. So the question is, are the Dallas Cowboys in a secret rebuild? I think they honestly are. Because, let me explain. No trolling whatsoever. You let go of most of your weapons. In Tyron Smith, Luke Van Der Esch, which his career sadly ended to a neck injury that was suffered against the 49ers in week 4, was it? I think it was week 4. Don't call me on that. I think it was week 4. Rest his career. May his career rest in peace. And then also letting go of Stephon Gilmore and others. It's safe to say this team's in a rebuild. Because you got Dak Prescott, you got CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Ezekiel Elliott, and many other guys. They ain't really good playmakers. I mean, CeeDee Lamb barely made a catch in that game against the Packers. He barely made a catch. And they were defending him pretty dang good. But the Cowboys, with the Eagles looking as good as they've been, with getting both Cooper DeJean and Quinton Mitchell, that's just crazy. So yes, the Cowboys are in a secret rebuild. No trolling whatsoever. But let me see if we have any chat activity. Let me see if we got anything. Nothing yet. Also, in case you missed it, in the comments, I put in a link, which is to Q Streaming, which is the representative of this video. If you guys did not tune in earlier, this is a stream site that you can pay for $60 a month. You can get live TV, live sports, and also get on-demand TV shows and movies. And here's the good thing about this. If you get people to sign on with your code, you get an additional $6 every month. $6 that you get in return. And this is absolutely really nice, if you ask me. It's in the comments below, in the chat room below. So if you guys do want to check that out later on, be sure to go check that out. I highly suggest it. But moving down to the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, which has been a talk of this team ever since Russell Wilson went to the team. Now, the question is, what place are the Steelers going to be in the division in 2024? Oh man, I've had them going in last place a few times. I've been eyeing up changing my mind. However, they still have to play the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns. So I will say this. They're either going to come in third or last place in their division. Because the Steelers, I like the selections they made at Zach Frazier and Troy Faltanu. But the truth is, they have a hard division to go through. And that's the Ravens, Bengals, and the Browns. And you have to play the AFC West this year, which is Kansas City, Chargers, and Raiders, including the Donkeys, which we all know suck right now. Excuse my language there, if that's any cursed language. I just love giving the Broncos heck since that whole trade. But anyways, the Steelers, even though they have got some help on their offensive line, you still got one problem. Getting another supporter in there for TJ Watt. Now, Patrick Queen could be that guy. However, he's not performed very well without Roquan Smith by his side. And whenever TJ Watt gets hurt, this Steelers defense just demotes a ton. And that's one of the reasons why they lost that wild card game last year to the Bills. So I can see them either coming in third or last place of the division next year. So let me first see if there's any chat activity right now before I move on to the next topic. Nothing right now. For those of you just joining, if you guys want to put in some questions into the chat, please be sure to put in some and I can get to them here in a little bit. I'll be going over them each time I get done with a topic. So moving on to the next topic. The Bills. I wanted to talk about the Buffalo Bills because recently they made some good draft choices. In Keon Coleman, who I think is a superstar, who's going to be a really good player in this season for the Bills. But with the letting go of Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, this is going to have a huge toll. The question is, are the Bills still an AFC East contender? I think they are, because Miami fans have been getting on the Buffalo Bills for letting go of Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. I do believe that this team is going to be a threat, but it's going to be relied so heavily on their defense and offense. If they can perform very well, I really respect the Bills. I want them to win a Super Bowl one day. And I just don't see it right now, but their division, I can see them winning their division. Just not a Super Bowl right now, because we know the situation that is going on in Buffalo. But they're still AFC East contenders. But let me check the chat room really quick to see what we got. Oh, finally got some activity. So, Harry Hood said, I'd say Steelers second or third place. That's a good prediction, my friend. That's a good prediction. And then we also have Hasten Terrell. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Saying, hi there, happy Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, not sure what that is. I think it's some kind of holiday. I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with those things. But moving up a little bit. Oh, yep, Ravens first. I mean, I could see the Bengals coming in first, but it would have to depend on how good Joe Burrow is throughout the time of the division next year. So I'm with you there, but we'll have to see what the Bengals do, my friend. But continue going on down the comments in the chat room. So I'll get to this last one and then I'll move on. So Bills have to find a way to win big games. Totally agree there. Totally agree. But now moving down to the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Jim Harbaugh has been an amazing coach during his time. But now he comes back to the NFL, which they made a lot of good signings and draft picks, which they got Seahawks former tight end, Uncle Will Dissly, which is, I hope that guy is successful up there. But the question is, can the Chargers threaten the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC West? Now, I've got to say this. If Jim Harbaugh can make an impact on this team early, then absolutely. Because Jim Harbaugh is a mastermind. He can come up with things that no one else can think of. He led the 49ers to one Super Bowl appearance and multiple NFC Championship appearances where they lost, where one of the most notable losses was to the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game, which we all know that was the best post-game interview of all time, pretty much. I just had to throw that out there. I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out there. But anyways, you look at this Chargers team, you look at them, and they're stacked. I mean, their offensive weapons that they got, Brandon Rice, this guy, the son of Jerry Rice, who's with San Francisco, or was, he is a baller. I watched this kid's highlights, and let me tell you all something. Brandon Rice is a beast. He can run routes, he can toe tap, he kind of reminds me of Tyler Lockett in some ways because of how this kid plays. And I will say this. Justin Herbert, this guy's going to have a lot of pressure on his hands. And I do like the pick that they went after Joe Alt. I do like that to get more protection for Justin Herbert. I do like that. So we'll see what happens in that section. But let me see if there's any chat activity before I move on to the next topic. Nothing recent. So if you guys do have any questions for me or want to put something into the chat, please be sure to put some stuff into the chat and I can get to them after each topic I go over. So I currently have 5 topics left before I end this stream. So the next topic I wanted to get into is the Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, with their 8th overall pick, selected Michael Penix Jr. out of UW, Washington, which surprised a lot of people, including myself, because and if you guys didn't know, I did a live stream of the first round, and my reaction was, I was like surprised. I thought they were going to go after Dallas Turner. But anyways, the question is, was Penix the right pick for the Falcons? Absolutely not. Because here's the thing. The Falcons could have gotten Dallas Turner, Chop Robinson. They could have gotten many of those guys. And they passed on an edge rusher, which is what they needed. They needed someone up there that can be an edge rusher. And I truly believe that they missed out big time. I mean, I see the vision. But I don't know. It's causing a lot of confusion in the locker room right now because Kirk Cousins is there, which is gonna be a really, really interesting setup. Because if Michael Penix just starts, and then sorry about the background, there's like 2 dogs. Hey, girls, no barking. Sorry about that, guys. The dogs are barking at the side. I can show you guys in just a second. But anyways, Penix, I do not like it. I really don't. Because you could have gone defensive edge, which I do like I will say this. I like the pick of Rook Arororo, and also along with Breland Trice and Brendan Dorlis. Or Dorlis. Dorius. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but hopefully I am sorry if I mispronounced that wrong. So, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But, let me see if there's anything new in the chat. Let me see if anything's developed. Falcons may have had the worst draft in the NFL. Totally agree there, my friend. Totally agree there. But, the next topic I wanted to get into, I'm going to have some water here in just a second, just for a minute. Hold on. We're near the last few topics here. So, next topic I wanted to get into is also about the 49ers. The Ricky Pearsall pick. Now, the Pearsall pick was made when Cooper DeJean and countless other guys were available. But the question is, did the 49ers make a mistake drafting Pearsall? But before I do that, I had a video that I wanted to show all of you. Because I was looking on YouTube, I was looking on social media about 49er fans' reactions, and I actually got a few of them that are actually very notable. So I'm going to show them to you guys. And that was some fans' reactions. But I agree with them. Because a 49ers fan I have talked to. I work with a 49ers fan up in my job, which I'm a cashier. I've talked to a lot of people about this. And they don't like it. Because Ricky Pearsall, when was the last time a Florida receiver actually performed well out of college? First thing, which I don't even remember the last time a Florida Gator actually performed very well as a receiver. Second thing, there were many different choices out there for you. You had Cooper DeJean, Trevondre Sweat. You had Jackson Powers Johnson, Cameron Kitchens, and many, many, many other guys on that draft that were available right there. How do you pass up on a talent like those guys? How do you pass up on a talent like those guys? Especially Cooper DeJean, where you needed a secondary player anyway. Why would you do that? I mean, really. Because here's the thing. This 49ers fan I have spoken to has said, in his words, that the Seahawks front office is better than the 49ers front office. And this right here is one of the reasons why. And for those of you that just joined us, I just said, this 49ers fan I talked to at work, he said in his words, the Seahawks are better at draft, their front office is better than the 49ers. A 49ers fan said that to my face. He said that our front office is better than the 49ers. And this is a diehard fan we're talking about here. This is a diehard 45-year-old 49ers fan who was alive when Joe Montana was there. And he said this. He said this. And here's the thing. Cooper DeJean, you do not pass up a talent like him. Because he is not only a good corner, he's a good returner. He reminds me of Patrick Peterson. How do you pass up a talent like that? And also Travondre Sweat, who is a run-stopping machine, who went to the Tennessee Titans. And also along with Cameron Kitchens and many other guys I mentioned, including Jackson Powers-Johnson, which they needed help at the offensive line anyway, because Trent Williams, we don't know what's going to happen to him after next season. We don't know if he's going to go anywhere else. But the 49ers made a big-time mistake here. Big time. Because I don't understand why you use a first-round pick on a receiver. Now if it's a signal to trading Brandon Ayuk, then I can see it. But you don't pass up Cooper DeJean, who is a stud. And that ended up with Philly. But before I move on to my next topic, I did want to get to the chat room. So let me see what's happened. Nothing new yet. Okay. Now I'm entering my final three. My final three topics are... Oh, here we go. 49ers will probably win about 10 games next year. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the playoffs. I agree there, pal. I agree there, Harry Hood. I agree with you there. Because the Niners, I agree they're going to make the playoffs. But the question is, are they going to win the NFC West? Now, I'm going to go over this here in a little bit. I'm going to talk about my Seahawks again in the last topic before the end of the video. So next question is the Jaguars. About the Jaguars. The Jaguars, we know, had a late season collapse. We saw it. They went 9-8 total in their record last year and just missed the playoffs and gifted the division to the Houston Texans, which was pretty much a big surprise to all of us. But the question is, can the Jaguars rebound from last season? Oh, man. I honestly think they can. Now, I'm going to stand up for this because my backside's getting really tired because my chair is a little uncomfortable. But let me explain. The Jaguars, I think, are going to be a threat because you had Gabe Davis to an already dangerous offense. And also Brian Thomas Jr., who is a baller, by the way, from LSU. And also they released Zay Jones recently, if none of you saw that. But I do like the pick that they made to replace their safety, Rashawn Jenkins, who ended up with the Seattle Seahawks. But I do think the Jaguars will rebound from next year. I do believe that. So before I get on my last two, I'm going to check the chat room real quick. No. Is that to the NFC West? Let me know down in the comments. Who do you have winning the NFC West, Harry Hood? Who do you have winning it? But the Colts. That's the second team I wanted to get to. Because they selected Latia Latu. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But then they also got Adonai Mitchell and a few other guys in the draft. But the question is, are the Colts a sleeper team in the AFC? I think they are. Because, let me explain. Anthony Richardson, this kid out of Florida. Now, I had the Jaguars picked week 1 when the Colts were playing them. I thought they were going to blow them out. But when I saw this kid start, I even looked at the highlights of this kid. And Anthony Richardson was balling out. And that's when he really got my attention. And Anthony Richardson, I've watched this guy since he played with Florida. I thought the Seahawks were going to go out and get him with one of their picks of last season, which we all know he got taken by the Colts at, I think it was at number 3 or number 4. One of those two. But Anthony Richardson, you pair him up with Michael Pittman Jr., also along with Jonathan Taylor, Adonai Mitchell, and a few other guys, this team, and with already a dangerous front seven, with the fourth Buckner and Latia Latu, I mean, are you kidding? This team is so being slept on. This team is being slept on. Because the media is not even talking about them. I wanted to bring this up. Because the Colts are not getting that much attention. And I think the Colts are going to be a sleeper team next year. But before I get into my last topic, I did want to check the comments, the chat. Speaking about breakdowns, do you think the Eagles will ever win out season open? Let me see that. Their will ever win out a season. Their meltdowns are legendary. Oh, I know. I mean, trust me, Harry. Harry Hood. I didn't expect my Hawks to win against them in Week 15. I honestly didn't. And when I saw the Seahawks go out there and do it, I was like, what the? Because I had no idea our team was even that maxed up with them. Believe me, I had the Eagles that picked that day against my own team. And we've had their number for the last few times. I picked my own team against them. I picked against my own team. And I'm realistic that way. I've had times where I've picked against my own team. Because I know that those are statement games. I had other teams picked when they went against mine, because when we went on the road to Cincinnati, I had the Bengals picked. When we went on the road to Baltimore, I had the Ravens picked. I've gone against my teams. Even week 2, I went with the Lions after what I saw from us against the Rams. I've had times where I've picked against my own team because I'm realistic. I know I have realistic expectations. I have realistic expectations for my team, unlike Cowboy fans, if you ask me. But moving down, I'd love to see Hawks win the NFC, but that's a far stretch. Yeah, trust me. But here's the thing. The last topic I want to go over is about my team. Now, the Seahawks, they've loaded on a lot of things. But a question that has been spread to me a lot is what is the record prediction I have for the Seahawks this season? Now, if I was to say a floor, I would probably say 9-8 because it's a first-year head coach. However, if we can gel early and if we can be a good team, I have the ceiling being, hear me out on this, 11-6. Because let me explain. The Seahawks, they went out there and got loads of guys. They got loads of weapons. You add Rashawn Jenkins to a secondary that desperately needed safeties after they let go of Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams, which Jamal had to go because if he's not going to show up to a game when he's healthy, he's got to go. And I certainly hope he plays for the 49ers if those rumors are a matter of fact true, if they are looking to sign Jamal Adams. I hope he goes there. I'm open. But anyways, and then also they got Kevon Wallace to kind of help out with the corner situation. And then also along with that, they got Jonathan Hankins, who was a good run-stopping player when he was with the Cowboys. And then you also add on a few other guys on their offense, which Avishka Shenault, this dude, I mean, I was questioning this at first. But when I saw this dude's highlights, I was like, wow. Because this guy is amazing. He's got speed. He's got talent. I think he could be the ultimate X factor of the team, other than DK, Tyler Lockett, and JSN. And then you also add on Pharaoh Brown and re-sign both Noah Fant and Leonard Williams. Which Leonard Williams, I felt like had to stay there because of that trade. We traded with the Giants late in the season. But you think about it now, Uchenna Nwosu wasn't in the lineup when Leonard Williams was there. I've been on this for some time. Could you imagine Leonard Williams with both Uchenna Nwosu and Byron Murphy? Are you kidding? That's a dangerous front seven. I mean, it's underrated. It's an underrated front seven. Because if you look at the front seven of the defensive line, you got Nwosu, you got Leonard Williams, you got Byron Murphy, Boye Mafe, you got Darrell Taylor, Jaron Reed, Jamal Jones, which I'm not sure if we're going to trade him or not. But I will say this team is rising. Mike Macdonald is creating a culture with this team, which I personally have always felt this way. I feel that the Seahawks are one thing away from being an absolute threat. And I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I do know this. The Seahawks are going to have a few rough games ahead of them, a few tough ones, including going on the road into Detroit again, which is going to be very interesting. And also going in, against the Bears, along with the I'm trying to remember right now. Also along with the Vikings and Packers at home, which the Packers, I'm hoping we play them on a primetime game because that is a great rivalry between the Seahawks and the Packers. It's always been a great rivalry. And then if we can be at least beat the 49ers once, then I'll be happy. I would call that a successful season right there. If we can beat the Niners at least once, I'll be happy. But then you also got the AFC side, the AFC East. You got the Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, and Bills. Which the Bills and Dolphins are coming to Seattle to play there. And then they'll have to go on the road against Aaron Rodgers, that bad man, as Stephen A. always likes to call him. Which, I mean, it's going to be interesting because the Seahawks, actually, fun fact, they're unbeaten in MetLife. They're undefeated in MetLife Stadium. That's going to be an interesting showdown between the Jets and the Seahawks in MetLife Stadium. But as I said, I think the floor is going to be 8-9, and I think the ceiling is going to be 11-6. But let me check the chat room one more time before I put an end to this video. If the Seahawks stop the run, I agree. I agree. Hold on, let me see if I can get that up again. I agree. 11 or 12 wins. If not, I think another 9-8 season. Yep, I agree with you right there, Henry. I agree with you right there. I agree with you, Henry. But that's pretty much all the topics. Here we go. I'll only root for a Packers win until Aaron Rodgers retires. Wait, Packers or Seahawks? Let me see. Let me see. Root for a Packers win. Against which team? The Packers against the Seahawks or against the Jets? Because I don't know if the Jets play the Packers. Because if that does happen, that would be interesting. But let me know. Let me know, Harry. Any team. Okay. I'll just confirm it. All right. So before I go, I like Aaron Rodgers to realize his mistake. Oh, yep, leave in there. I mean, it's not all that bad because Jordan Love learned right behind him. And if you think about it, it's kind of like the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation from a few years ago again. It's kind of like that situation. But before I go, I did want to show my dogs. So hold on just really tight, guys. I'll be right back. Oh, guys, come on. Hold on, guys. But these are my two dogs here. The one on the right, in my right hand, is Sarabi, and then the one in my left hand is Nala. So they're toy poodles, and they're also rocking their Seahawk jerseys as well. I've had them for 3 to 4 years now. But these are my two cute little puppies right here. So if you guys like them, be sure to let me know. But they're really friendly around people and friendly around others. But anyways, that's where I'm going to end this stream. I hope you all enjoyed this special edition live stream. And also, before we go, I do want to set a goal of hitting 500 subscribers before the NFL season starts. So if you guys did enjoy this, please be sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't, but oh wait. Hold on. Got one more thing. Hold on, let me see this. Why do the Safeways in Seattle never sell Mariners gear, only Seahawks year-round? Well, one reason, I think, is because they've never made a World Series appearance. But however, they are leading the AL West. That is something that has caught my eye recently, which I didn't even notice at the time until a few days ago. Which, going a little off topic of the NFL here, the Mariners are looking good. They're looking good. And if they can make the playoffs, I think they can be a good team. And we know that there's many series to be played. Yeah, hopefully you get the Sonics back too. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm only a Warriors fan because I like Steph Curry, and it's the closest one to Seattle. And I will say this: there has been rumors of the NBA teams coming back to Seattle and also going to Las Vegas. If that does happen, I would immediately switch. I would immediately switch to be a fan of those two teams. And also, my Golden Knights play tonight in Game 7, which hopefully they can win out tonight because I'm hoping they can go back-to-back so I can get some more merch. I'm hoping they can go back-to-back. I'm really hoping so. But let me see if there's any chat activity before we go. Supersonics, yeah. I mean, the name would probably be changed if the Seattle team were to get a basketball team back. I wouldn't think it would be the Supersonics. I would think it would probably be like, I don't know, the Sea Pirates? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. That'll be a name I would think of. Because the Kraken's already taken. Seahawks already taken. Mariners already taken. I want to know of a name to give the Seattle basketball team. I would say like Buccaneers. Maybe? Maybe? I'm just throwing it out there. But anyways, I'm going to end this stream here. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, I want to set a goal of hitting 500 subscribers before the NFL regular season next season begins. So be sure to share this channel with your friends, your family, and also be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the next vid. Ciao for now.